Before he was an emperor, before the world feared his name, before he conquered nations, Napoleon Bonaparte was an unknown artillery officer. But there was a moment, a pivotal moment that catapulted him from obscurity to fame, and it all began here, at the siege. This is the untold story of how a young Corsican officer reshaped history, how a besieged city, torn apart by civil war and foreign intervention, would become the cradle of Napoleon's rise. But why was Toulon so important? Why did the world's greatest powers fight tooth and nail for its control? And what did Napoleon see that others failed to grasp? Welcome to the Siege of Toulon, a moment in time that would change the course of the French Revolution, the fate of Europe and the world. Chapter 1. The Backdrop of Revolution. 1793. France is engulfed in the flames of revolution. The monarchy has fallen, the republic has been born, and yet the war is far from over. The country is divided. The Federalist revolts erupt across major cities: Lyon, Avignon, Marseille, and Toulon. In Toulon, the situation is dire. Royalists have taken control, and with the backing of the Anglo-Spanish fleet, they declare Toulon is no ordinary city. It is the jewel of the Mediterranean, a vital naval base. With its port, the French Republic's fleet could challenge the British for control of the seas. Without it, the revolution itself might crumble. The Royalists, desperate to keep Toulon out of Republican hands, hand the city and its fleet to the British and Spanish. A dangerous alliance is formed, and soon 13,000 British, Spanish, Neapolitan, and Sardinian troops descend upon Toulon. On the other side, the Republic sends its forces to retake Toulon. General Jean-François Carteaux arrives with the Carmagnols, a motley crew of soldiers from Marseille and Avignon, determined to crush the Royalists. Yet despite their numbers, they struggle. Toulon is fortified, protected by new British defenses on strategic heights. The French are losing ground. That is, until a young artillery officer arrives. His name is Napoleon Bonaparte, a mere captain fresh out of Corsica, but with a vision that will soon shake the world. Napoleon arrives as a simple artillery officer, but what he sees changes everything. The Republican forces are scattered, their artillery poorly positioned, and they lack the strategic vision to retake Toulon. Napoleon's eyes drawn to the heights above the harbor. Forts like L'Aiguillette and Balaguer, which dominate the sea. His plan is simple but brilliant. Seize these forts, and you cut off the Anglo-Spanish fleet from the city. Without their naval support, Toulon would fall. But his superiors don't see it. General Carteaux is reluctant to follow Napoleon's bold plan. A weak detachment is sent to capture the heights, and they fail. The British and their allies reinforce the position, building what will be called Little Gibraltar, an impregnable fortress at the summit. Napoleon is furious. He writes to Paris, pleading for better leadership, for more resources. He knows what must be done, but the incompetence of his superiors is costing them time and lives. Undeterred, Napoleon begins to take matters into his own hands. He gathers cannons from Marseille, Avignon, and even the army of Italy. He trains the infantry himself, turning them into artillerymen. Under his command, the besieging force grows stronger. With each passing day, Napoleon's artillery tightens the noose around Toulon. His strategy is to bombard the enemy into submission. But still, Little Gibraltar stands in the way. It is the key to everything. Act 3. The Turning Point, Little Gibraltar. November 1793. The tides of war are about to change. General Carteaux is dismissed, replaced by a more competent leader, General de Gamier. De Gamier listens to Napoleon, and the plan to capture Little Gibraltar is set in motion. Together, de Gamier and Napoleon position batteries that will rain fire on Little Gibraltar. Cannons are moved into place, and on the night of December 16th, the final assault begins. The fighting is fierce. Napoleon leads from the front, and during the battle, he is wounded by a British bayonet. But by dawn, Little Gibraltar falls. Napoleon's artillery now dominates the harbor. Realizing the city is lost, the Anglo-Spanish fleet withdraws, setting fire to the port and the French fleet as they go. But the damage is done. Toulon is back in Republican hands, and it was this victory, this brilliant use of artillery and strategy, that put Napoleon Bonaparte on a map. The young officer was promoted to brigadier general just days after the fall of Toulon. France had found its future leader. Act 4. Aftermath and Legacy. The fall of Toulon was not just a military victory. It was a turning point in the French Revolution. The royalists were crushed, and the Republic was saved. But for Napoleon, it was only the beginning. In the years to come, Napoleon would rise to become Emperor of France, reshaping Europe in his image. But it all started here, at the Siege of Toulon, a forgotten battle, where a young officer's genius first shone. This is the story of how Napoleon Bonaparte seized his destiny. This is the Siege of Toulon. If you enjoyed this dive into history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for more untold stories of the past. The rise of Napoleon is far from over. Join us as we uncover the battles, the triumphs, and the strategies that shaped one of the greatest military minds in history.